Can America and Russia ever be on good terms, or at least be neutral? That is the question. Before you go anywhere else, let me know down below, yes or no, explain why. Hello and welcome. My name is Daniel. I'm an American Afghanistan war veteran of the United States Marine Corps. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because I was accepted to get a Russian visa. I was accepted to be able to come in and visit Russia, and I was let in by the Russian government. Now, why am I saying that is, well, since there was a big conflict, Russians were not allowed to go in certain places. Russians were mistreated in certain places, and that has not been the case here in Russia. So I am saying this is one example of why I believe Russia and America can be on better terms. Now, the question that I asked you in the beginning, I really do want you to answer it because I want to see where your guys' mentality is at. I want to see what you're thinking. But you know, things have gotten so weird and crazy on the other side. Let's just use Europe as an example. You end up seeing headlines like this. Now, these headlines are no joke. They're stories about Russians who have had their cars confiscated, their jewelry and expensive things confiscated, and they're just basic normal civilians. So the Europeans have waged war on the belongings of the normal civilians in Russia. And guess what? Russia has not done the same to the people who are coming from foreign countries. Now, this, I believe, is something that benefits relationships between America and Russia. Why? Because you don't really see that between Russia and America because they're so far apart. Before I talk about that, I want to show you something that's very interesting, by the way. There's a vlogger or like a channel on YouTube who's a Russian guy who's very anti-Russia, who he believes things have gotten so bad that he even made a video about it.
Now guys, let's move on to my next point, my next example of how things that European politicians are doing, sometimes they're just basically giving ammo to Russian propaganda. There was a lot of drama and discussion about this one. I didn't really talk about it, but essentially what happened a few months ago is that the president of the Czech Republic, Petr Pavel, has made a very interesting statement in regards to how Russians should be treated in Europe and what European Union should do with Russian citizens on its territory.
When there is an ongoing war, the security measures related to Russian nationals should be stricter than in normal times. So all Russians living in Western countries should be monitored much more than in the past, because they are citizens of a nation that leads an aggressive war. I think I can be sorry for these people, but at the same time, when we look back, when the Second World War started, all Japanese population living in the United States were under strict monitoring regime as well. That's simply cost of war.
Yes.
So in this clip that we just saw, basically the president of a country has said, hey, don't trust the Russians. Let's keep an eye on the Russians. So you can see how bad things have gotten between the Europeans and the Russians. I believe that the relationship between the Europeans and the Russians is going to have to take way longer to come back to neutrality than America. And today the topic is America and Russia. So let's move on. And so guys, I said earlier that the distance between Russia and America is going to benefit us. Why? Well, basically, the most important part of Russia to the Russians is their capital, you know, the Moscow, the St. Petersburg, the big cities on the western side. That in itself is very far from America. I know geographically wise, they're very, very close on the western side and the eastern side of Russia. But anyways, we're like two little kids that fight, two brothers that fight, and we must be separated to give ourselves some time to rest and calm down. And usually, the distance between enemies is a burden for both. This is a true military thing where if you're very far apart, it's very hard to fight each other, and the conflict is a slower pace. So right now, I believe that the distance is going to be a great benefit for us. Again, guys, none of the things that I'm saying are like true facts. These are just my thoughts. I'm sorry that you have to listen to them, but listen, I want to know what you think. Whether you agree with me or not, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Remember to leave a comment down below. This video is an open forum. So let's go on and move on to another reason why I think America can go from being on this side going into the center. There's enemies There's neutral and there's friends. I never think in my lifetime we'll be friends with Russians. I just believe our government is a little bit too radical. But I will tell you this. I personally believe that in the next presidency election, like if we get a new president, I believe that our relationship with Russia is going to be way better than it is now. Now, unfortunately, it is no secret that the current government is just adding fuel to the fire. And it's almost like without an exaggeration what they're doing. Okay? But the president prior to this one, we were right there in the middle. We weren't best friends with Russia. We weren't enemies of Russia. And believe me, I understand superpowers and rising powers, they can't really be friends. They have to compete economically. But I'll tell you what, there's a difference between being on the enemy list and being neutral. Many European countries and even my country have openly just shown so much hate against Russia that now I believe, like I said, with the next president, they are more likely to be a Republican guy. I don't know who's going to win. Doesn't matter. But they've expressed that they rather look internally because we have so many problems in America. Now, this really makes me laugh, guys, because in my hometown, we have people that are rotting, physically rotting from doing drugs, and they're rotting in the streets. And we don't take care of them. We have natural disasters that have annihilated entire towns, and our country is not really caring about them. And I'm laughing because at this point our government is a laughing stock of the world, because they look at us and they say, hey, look, you're worried about Martians and their crops in Mars, but you can't even take care of your people in your hometowns. And I would agree at that, but that's kind of going to benefit the American-Russian relationship, whether it's going to blow your mind or not, but that's just how it is. The American populations are tired of America looking outwards and not looking inwards. We have done that for so long that these older generations, like people my age, are sick and tired of this craziness, and we kind of want to focus on America a little bit more. And that's going to take our eyes away from Russia. Now, I know it sounds crazy how I tied that up to making things better between the countries, but believe me, when you have so much internal problems like we do in America, it's going to boil and then it's going to explode in our faces, and we have to look inward, okay? That's just my opinion. By the way, I hope you're enjoying this video, and if you are, please do hit like. It helps the algorithm. I know usually we don't make videos like this, but the world is changing right now. I needed to kind of produce this because the presidential election is happening soon in America, and I think it's going to greatly affect these two countries' relationship. So please let me know with the like and a comment. I read 100% of them. If you want to test me, go ahead, comment something below and I'll reply. And here's another very important point. Like I said, I came here and the Russian people have accepted me. I have traveled all over Russia. But I will tell you, there's hundreds of thousands of Russians in the United States, and there's tens of thousands, for sure, Americans and other Westerners inside of Russia. I think that these populations are going to help normalize the relationship between the countries, because this is not like the 1500s where you can persecute people for their nationalities anymore. I think that the people are a little bit more connected, and with time we can expedite the healing process. Like, I'm not going to say people like me because I'm just an insignificant small channel, but I will tell you there's larger channels, there's large populations inside of America that will hopefully push for faster pace, stop the BS in America. Because in Russia it's a little bit more normal, guys. I've seen this government be insanely calm even when countries have shown so much hate. And it is that lack of hate from the Russian side why I think things can normalize. All right, a lot of people will say, no, but America this, America that. Well, guess what? Right now, the person on top is Russia, the government. They are not being so evil against the countries that have shown to turn their backs on them. When America said to Mexico, hey, do not trade with Russia anymore. Don't do this, don't do that. Sanction Russia. Mexico said, hey, calm down. We're not your puppet, first of all, and Russia has done nothing bad to us. And then Russia, in turn, you saw they sent their cadets to march on Mexican Independence Day. So relationships like these can help and benefit the relationship between Russia and America. It's small things like those where other countries say no more that it actually helps America. Like, can you imagine you're the big bad bully and you start hitting people and tell them, hey, do this, do that. You just make enemies for yourself. But if you send someone and bully them and there's another guy that says, hey, come here, like it's okay, and holds them, that's what kind of Russia's doing. It's saying, hey, come here, it's okay. The bully's just gone through some stuff. Let's just wait it out. Like, this is how I see it. You know, maybe you might think I'm a little bit crazy, but that's just how it looks from the inside. If you're not living in Russia right now and you think it's contrary to what I'm saying, then you have no idea what it's like living in Russia. You don't see how Russia operates. Russia has never stopped me for my belongings, has never stopped me from being just an American, has never questioned me beyond like what they should for being a military man. I have never been harassed. There's many of other stories of other people who are more decorated than I who have visited Russia, and Russia has been completely open and they have been treated like normal people. But if you turn that on the American side, it might be different. Hell, I don't even think that some officials from Russia can even visit the American continent, North America right now, except Mexico, but it's gotten that crazy. So, Russia being a more calm and collected country right now is going to benefit the relationship between America and Russia. Those were all my thoughts. I just want to know what you think. You know, on the live, there was so many things being said, so many comments. We didn't get to read them. We didn't get to talk about them. I want to take this time to let you know, look, it's not going to hurt my feelings, and I've told you guys many times, I don't really get offended. Tell me if you agree. Tell me what you think. This channel has always been an open forum to communicate between the Russians and everybody else. In the comment section, it's always been so great. This channel has grown immensely to 17,000 subscribers, and the Russian people read through the comments, and the foreigners outside of Russia read the Russians' comments, and it's really funny. You'll see comments where they say, wow, I didn't know that this is how the Russians thought, and the Russians say, I didn't know this is what the American mentality was. Please give each other the gift of knowledge, of knowing what each other is thinking. It's really important to communicate. And we did make a video of American cops versus Russian cops. You can see that video. And we also made a video talking about Ksenia's hometown and my hometown and comparing. These are comparison videos that you can watch. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And we'll obviously see you on the next one.